NYOIL. The idea. Here's one for y'all.
DJ Speek Greene, talking to you cats about how I got involved with NYOIL and the Hood Treason album. The concept was supposed to be me doing a mixtape for NYOIL, but he passed on the idea and wanted to make it an official album for the streets. I gotta kind of take you back on how I even met NYOIL. I was on MySpace, kind of looking for eclectic individuals to be on a mixtape that I was doing, called The Sanitation, mixtape that never got released. What happened was, I met with this group called The Good People out of Staten Island, New York, and they used to do the Adelphi radio station in Staten Island, and there's some real cool cats, real talented, and if you're not familiar with Adelphi Radio, that's the same station that DJ Spinner started out in. A lot of people, it was kind of like the answer to Stretch Armstrong and Barbito. One of the things that I wanted to do was kind of have an old school group on there and kind of have them ride on a new school track. And one of the groups that I was looking at was the UMCs. That's Cool Kim and Haj G. They had the record Blue Cheese and One to Grow On, Never Neverland, and all of that shit. And it was real hot. Like, if you ain't familiar with that, then you really ain't hip hop. He gives me Cool Kim's number, so I call Kim on the phone, and we start talking. And I'm like, "Yo, I want to get you and Haj on a freestyle for my mixtape." He was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do it." He's like, "On one condition." And I was like, "Well, what condition is that?" He was like, "You put my cousin NYOIL on me." So he gives me the link to the page, the MySpace page. So I'm listening, and I hear this joint on there called "What Up My Wiggle Wiggle, What Up My Wetback." I'm like, "What the fuck is this?" I'm like, "This is the craziest shit I ever heard." And it was like, and it took me back to the conscious days, the golden era, in like the early 90s and stuff like that. So I was like, "Yo, this is super, super ill." So I was so fascinated with NYOIL and his delivery and all of this shit. I didn't even care if the UMCs was going to be on the joint or not. It was like, it's all about NYOIL. So I called Kim back and I'm like, "Yo, I gotta have this NYOIL dude on there." He was like, "No problem. I'll get it popping for you." Something just told me to go on YouTube, type in NYOIL and just search. So I see the video, and he's got this other song up there called "Y'all Should All Get Lynched." And it's got this ill like sample at the beginning. It's like, "Today we'll need to die for you," some shit like that. And it's like, "All y'all bullshit MCs, y'all officially on notice. Some shit, y'all should all get lynched." And it just had all of these rappers on there, like Gold Teeth and Bling and just all of the bullshit, the shit that we complain about. And I was like, "Yeah, this is what it is." So I'm gonna say 4 or 5 days later, Kim calls me back and was like, "Look, I'm putting you on this guest list for this party that NYOIL is going to be doing in Manhattan at this club called R&R." So I'm like, "All right, cool." So I get there and I'm at the door and I'm talking to the door chick and I'm like, "I'm on Cool Kim's guest list." And she's like, "Who?" I said, "Cool Kim, UMC." She's like, "Yeah, Cool Kim. There's no Cool Kim here. He doesn't have a guest list at all." And I'm like, "Okay, this is the NYOIL show." She's like, "Yeah, this is definitely the NYOIL party." I'm like, "All right, cool, I said, "Well, what do I do?" She's like, "Well, you can always pay." And she's like, "It's only $5. So I'm like, "All right, cool." J. Rue the Damager was on the bill, and OC was on the bill too. So I'm like, $5 to see all of them? I'm like, fuck, might as well. So I go, and sure enough, NYOIL is on stage. Like, he's on stage, and I'm walking into the middle of Y'all Should All Get Lynched, and it was great. Like, the magnetism that this dude displayed on stage was just, the presence was incredible. nothing like that in a long time, man, that I haven't felt in hip hop. And you know, he's got the shades on and all of this stuff, so you can't really tell who he is and whatever. So I go back there and I'm like, you know, anybody know what Cool Kim is? And everybody start laughing at me. And I'm like, what the fuck is so funny? Like, yo, where's Cool Kim? So NYOIL'S over there doing an interview or whatever, and I go and introduce myself, and I'm like, yo, Oil, what's up? This is DJ Speek Greene. He's like, yo, you know where your cousin is, Cool Kim? And he was like, looking at him. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? He's like, motherfucker, I'm Cool Kim. I was like, okay, wait a minute. You're telling me that the dude I was talking to was Cool Kim and NYOIL at the same time? And he was like, yeah, we both. I was like, oh, wow, so you doing some old MF Doom shit. Because I was like, yo, that was some marketing strategy for your ass. I come up with the idea that I want to do the mixtape. And he was like, you know, Paul, I don't want to, you know, that's what he says. He's like, Paul, I don't want to do that shit. You know, it's going to be the typical mixtape shit where people play it once and then throw it in the back seat and forget about it and all of that. So I was like, all right, well, what do you want to do? He's like, yo, I want to do a street album. I'll do whatever, you know, whatever, because I believe in the situation and the project so much that I'm down to do it. And I know he's going to get crazy buzz off of, you know, the Y'all Should All Get Lynched and What Up My Wigger, because they're so, both records are so controversial that I had to be a part of it. So I started compiling beats for him, and there was this one joint that I had that Black Sheep used. I forget the name of this. I forget the original to the record. What I did was I took another part of that record and flipped it, and you'll hear the part where I'm gonna shout it in the streets. I'm gonna tell everybody I meet. I'm gonna say my soul. I'm gonna say it. So I used that part, and then used the other part was going wow. So it's a constant, you know, the break is crazy. Now originally that was supposed to go to Ghostface. You know, whatever happened, Ghost didn't get the record. NYOIL heard it over the phone, went crazy, was like, yo, I gotta have this. What's good? I was like, it's yours. So he held on to the beat for a minute. Like, you know, he held on to it for a while. And he's like, yo, I need some more joints. So I hit up my man Mosaic, who's my partner, and he laid down the perfect beat and like 3 other joints. That They Hate to Love Me, and 2 other records that's on the Hood Treason album. So shouts out to him. I brought him in on that project as well. You know, Oil gave me an executive in charge of producing on that, so a production on that. So it's on the album. If you flip it over, you'll see all of that. So finally, he's got another show at SOB's. He's like, yo, I got the album, kid. You know, I was like, all right. He's like, yo, your record is on there. Everybody's records is on there. So he played it, and I almost lost my mind. It was so ridiculous the way he laid it down and the way the delivery, and then even on the Mosaic stuff. And, you know, I was just ecstatic. So that's how the whole Hood Treason situation came about. You know, Chuck Wilson got at him for Baby Grand, so they picked up the project. So now he's looking at the worldwide distribution. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people are going to eat. A lot of people are going to, you know, get some notoriety off of this, which is a good thing. And he told everybody to be patient because, you know, we did this album on no budget. You know what I'm saying? So shouts to Al and everybody that was involved. You know, Jackie, the lawyer, just everybody that was involved in the project for putting it down. And, you know, DJ Speek Greene, you know what I'm saying? NYOIL, Hood Treason will be in stores soon, and that's what it is, baby boy, and I'm out of here.
Forward, they can set you back. You can get too mad, they let you march and sing. Wait a month and it's back to the same old thing. It's a sad cycle, sorta like a diamond ring. We slave my diamond where they once was king.